prize for the Vice Chancellor's procession. The Vice Chancellor's procession prizes directors of institutes, directors of academic units, deans of faculties, the dean of students, the provost, College of Medical Sciences, the provost, College of Postgraduate Studies, the inaugural lecturer, and principal officers of the university, with the Vice Chancellor as captain of the ship. The Vice Chancellor's procession for this inaugural lecture. Take the first two stanzas of the national anthem and the Uniben anthem.
Amen.
the cerebral and indefatigable Vice Chancellor, Professor Edoba Omoyege, SAN. Your Excellencies, top government functionaries here present, Your Royal Highnesses, distinguished chiefs from the palace of our Royal Father, former Vice Chancellors of our university and heads of institutions, other principal officers of our great university, former principal officers, members of the university's governing council, the provosts, deans, directors, the inaugural lecturer and family, professors emeriti, other esteemed scholars here present, my lords, spiritual, greatest university staff and students, invited guests, gentlemen of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Today, a big masquerade comes on stage as we heartily welcome you to the 339th in the inaugural lecture series of the University of Benin. A professor of educational planning, today's lecturer was at the time Director, Center for Entrepreneurship Development, and is currently the Deputy Vice Chancellor Academic of our university. Scholar and traditional chief, join me to warmly recognize with a resounding applause the Osayuwa Noba of Benin Kingdom, Professor Chief Victor OGIBINEWEKA. The topic of lecture, listen to this, the Higgledy-Piggledy in funding public university education in Nigeria. Stop the lamentation and do the needful. May I now respectfully invite the Registrar of the University, Mr. Ademola Bobola, to introduce our distinguished Vice Chancellor in the Vice Chancellor's procession. Mr. Registrar.
Please let's give a Vice Chancellor and the Vice Community a shout of applause. Mr. Vice Chancellor, I want to plead that you kindly allow me to follow the protocol as duly established by the university's peer, Dr. Mrs. Benedicta Yanire. However, all courtesies duly extended. It is my singular honor today to present to us the #1 citizen on this campus, a distinguished academic, a scholar by excellence, a man who has traversed the entire university system and the legal system as well, and has gotten to the pinnacle of the two that many people pray for so hard to even accomplish one, but he has combined the two. I think we should give our Vice Chancellor. It's a wonderful privilege when you have Vice Chancellor presiding an event of this nature, which means that the Vice Chancellor must have put away so many activities, both national and international. And of course, we know that the lecturer today is the man who could attract such an enviable position of the Vice Chancellor presiding today. So it is my singular honor once again to present to us, our dear Vice Chancellor, the 11th substantive Vice Chancellor of this university, Professor Edoba Omoyege. Another distinguished scholar, a man who has spent over 2 decades being a professor, still researching and still very active. Professor Christopher Osubo, the Deputy Vice Chancellor of Administration. Next on the Vice Chancellor's entourage, I You know, in the Bible, John the Baptist said, he is not even fit to untie the lashes of Jesus Christ, that's the Master. Today, I have no power to pronounce about him, apart from being a very worthy and eminent traditional chief. He's also an eminent scholar that only the Vice Chancellor can make pronouncement about him. And so, because of this, Mr. Vice Chancellor, please allow me to present to us today another very distinguished member of the university management, the man who keeps the money and the purse for the university. The acting boss of this university, distinguished fellow of many accounting professions and professional bodies, Mr. Gabriel Osadolo. We have with us today the keeper of our books and scholarly publications, Walter Maxine Esquire, the acting university librarian. Today we may have to do a lot of packing, if the Vice Chancellor will allow me to do so. One of his very dependable ally is delivering the lecture, and the man is a prominent citizen of this land. He's a son of the soil to the core. So I want to use the pronunciation from my own name there, son of the soil. So apart from being the son of the soil, many pronouncements were made by the Vice Chancellor today. Some people have accomplished the peak of their career, being professors. And we have about 15 of them coming today. If the Vice Chancellor will allow me to let the cat out of the bag, I think we should give the university a round of applause. And so it's also a unique day. And it's my own privilege too to present to us the dean, a former dean of the Faculty of Agriculture, but now the provost College of Postgraduate Studies of this university, Professor David Second. And we have with us today the dean of a very reputable College of Medical Sciences, with all the products known all over the universe, winning laurels here and there. Professor Wilson Sado, the Provost College of Medical Sciences. We have the #1 student on campus. The #1 student on campus is a distinguished professor of economics. He's a scholar by excellence, but he's busy in Abuja and everywhere because of the students. So he now puts his assistant, who is the Assistant Dean, Student Affairs, who is also the desk officer of NEEDFUL for this university, Dr. IGBINEWEKA. The dean who is hosting today is always in the limelight. For some years, he was bossing the Vice Chancellor. But today is going to be the boss of the inaugural lecture. The Dean Faculty of Education, Professor Kingsley Amoroke. We have the Dean School of Basic Clinical Sciences, Professor V.J. Ekane. We have celebrating also with the Faculty of Education is the Dean School of Basic Medical Sciences, Professor H.B. Osadolo. Representing the Dean School of Dentistry, no less a personality than the distinguished woman professor, Professor Mrs. J. Inaugural. And we also have the Dean Faculty of Life Sciences. We don't call that faculty life. We have always said it's Life Sciences. Professor T.O.T. Imobe, the Dean of that faculty. We also have with us today the Dean Faculty of Engineering, Professor Engineer E.A. Ogujo. We have the Dean who received the bachelor from the Provost College of Postgraduate Studies, and possibly the tallest in the park, when you put Professor Enagbe around it, we know who is taller. The Dean Faculty of Agriculture, Professor Christopher Emokaro. And we have with us again today the Dean Faculty of Environmental Sciences, Professor Raphael Irugbe. And the Dean Faculty of Law, the boss of that faculty. I want to mention that the Vice Chancellor is from that distinguished faculty. He can decide to call faculty meeting at any particular time, saying nobody, this one is mandatory, everybody must be present. I wonder what will happen to the Vice Chancellor then. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we have with us Professor Bright Bazwaye, the Dean Faculty of Law. The Dean Faculty of Legal Sciences, Professor E.O. Ayowomi. Well, anyway, that's the thing I always pronounce his name several times. The Dean, or let me put it this way, Acting Dean Faculty of Management Sciences, the women have started taking over once again, and that's Professor Mrs. Eva Biro Osage. And representing the Dean School of Medicine is Professor Edo Enaru Runa. And we have with us also the Dean Faculty of Pharmacy, Professor Godaro Ibe. The Dean Faculty of Social Sciences, Professor Omowi Osunde. And we have the Dean Faculty of Vocational and Technical Education, Professor Mrs. Uko Abioma. I think there should be solidarity for that faculty. It came out of education, but I'm sure it's a smooth birth of a new baby coming out of that big faculty. We have also today a distinguished scholar and the director of TEFON's NUC World Bank Center of Excellence, Professor E.S. Omoyege. You may not see, but I hope the camera will be able to pick. If the camera is not picking, just like in our own tradition, blessed are those who have not seen and yet believed. We said that over the weekend to Thomas, but we are now saying it to one of us today. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we have also with us today another distinguished professor, this time around, standing in for the Director Center for Part-Time Programs, Dr. Mrs. Maju Ovio Wikowe. Please let's give her a round of applause. And we have Professor O. Igogo, who is the Director Center for Distance Learning Program of this university. I said we should not be tired of clapping. Let's encourage them. He's not going to be a professor and head of any faculty of directorate. The Director Center for Educational Technology, Professor Hassan Oyahin, is also here. And the Director, TEFON Center of Excellence for Aquaculture and Food Technology, Professor Mrs. Ishoma Patience Obo. And we have the Director Center for Sustainable Development Goals, SDG, Professor Mrs. Ujiro Igudu. We have the brand new Director, Jupe, that's University Program, Preliminary Examination Board, Jupe, Professor K.O. Ilabari. And we have the Director of Quality Assurance Unit of the University, Professor Peter I. Sede. The Director of Advancement and Development and Alumni Development and Alumni Relations Office, Professor Edi Eragbe. Professor Edi Eragbe had been University Orator for Law, so if your clap is not too many, it's because you have received so much in the past. But we can update that today. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we also have with us another very distinguished professor, this time around in engineering fields, as the Director of Advanced Digital Engineering Center, ADEC, Professor Mrs. Patience Orukwe. We have the Director Institute of Child Health, Professor Mrs. Ayebo Sado. And we have also the Director of the newly restructured Directorate of Research, Innovation and Development, Professor Mrs. Ngozi Onuigwe. We have the Director of External Linkages and Internationalization also here with us. That's Professor E.F.O. Enato. Director of Students Guidance and Counseling, Professor Mrs. O.N. Ahie is also here. And we have the Director of General Studies Unit of this university, Professor Etiosa Ibinosa. The Director of African Center for Mushroom Research and Technological Innovations, Professor E.O. Akpaja. The Director Central Research Laboratory, Professor Andrew my director. I've not really received my certificate from the language school, which I'm yet to graduate. We also have with us today the Acting Director, Institute of Education, all the way from Ekewa campus, the Dr. K. Imaswe. And we also have with us from Ekewa campus as well, the Director Institute of Public Administration and Health Services Management, Dr. John Osagai. The Director Center for Maritime and ICT Center of this university, Dr. F.O. Wairi, is also here. I'm sure I've introduced the presenter to us here, one of our very distinguished directors, that is in charge of World Bank Center and Health. So I've not bothered to introduce her again. She's an eminent scholar who I presented before. But leading the Vice Chancellor's entourage today is the Deputy Registrar in charge of Senate Matters, Mrs. C.I. Egato. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry to have bored you down. Today is a day of celebration for all of us. So we expect every of our directors and all our principal officers to be present. That's why we have this large number. If you have anything short of that, then would have been wondering. But we thank God that today is a day of celebration, and it's only the Vice Chancellor who can really talk about the inaugural lecture. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Vice Chancellor, I hand over to you to present to us.
Thank you so much, Jerry Extra. Principal officers of the University of Higgledy, Provost, College of Postgraduate Studies, Provost, College of Medical Sciences, Deans of faculties and schools, Directors of institutes, members of council, dear present, emeritus professors, and members of Senate, my lords, spiritual and temporal, staff and students of this great university students, distinguished invited guests and friends of the university, gentlemen of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It is with great delight I welcome you all to the 339th in the inaugural lecture series of the University of Higgledy. Today's lecture is the 8th in the Department of Educational Management, 30th in the Faculty of Education, and 10th will be delivered my tenure as the Vice Chancellor of this university. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce our lecturer for today. He is my dear brother, my friend. He is Professor Victor OGIE, IGBINEWEKA. The title of his lecture is the Higgledy-Piggledy in the funding public university education in Nigeria. Stop the lamentation and do the needful. Professor Victor OGIE, IGBINEWEKA, was born on the 27th of May, 1967. The families of Chief IGBINEWEKA Higgledy of Iwesi village and Mrs. Imazo, you pronounce it better. Mrs. Ima IGBINEWEKA Utubo of Duengo village, both of Orion local government area of Edo State. He had his primary school education at the Exotic Primary School, Benin City, from 1973 to 1979, where he obtained the first school living certificate. He then attended the Osa Grammar School, Benin City, to obtain his West African School certificate in 1984. He proceeded to the College of Education and Catalog, Benin City, from 1986 to 1989. We obtained Nigerian Certificate of Education (NCE) in Agricultural Science. Professor IGBINEWEKA gained admission into this university, University of Benin, in 1989, where he obtained the Bachelor of Education degree, majoring in Adult Education and Agricultural Science combined degree in 1992. And I took the mandatory one-year National Youth Service Corps (NYSC) program at Ukari, Taraba State from 1992 to 1993, where he was the state coordinator of the Mass Literacy and Adult Education program. To broaden his knowledge, Professor IGBINEWEKA obtained the following degrees, also from the University of Benin. Master's degree in Educational Management, which was obtained in 1997, and a doctorate degree in Educational Planning, obtained in 2004. He proceeded to obtain the postdoctoral certificate in entrepreneurship development in the year 2022 from the Lagos Business School in Lagos, and subsequently obtained the postgraduate certificate in computer operations in 2003 from the Micron Institute of Computer Technology. Professor IGBINEWEKA worked first as an assistant lecturer at Ambrose Ali University, Edo State from 1992 to 2012 before joining the services of the University of Benin in 2012 as a senior lecturer in the Department of Educational Management and rose through the ranks to the position of professor in the year 2019. Professor IGBINEWEKA has held several administrative positions within and outside the university, such as member, Faculty of Education Board of Studies, the Ambrose Ali University, from 1999 to 2012, was member, Student Disciplinary Committee, Ambrose Ali University, from 2010 to 2012, was also member, Post-University Matriculation Entrance Examination PUM Committee of the University of Benin, in the year 2012 to 2015. Has been Assistant Dean, Faculty of Education, University of Benin, 2014 to 2018, was member of the Pedagogy Committee on the Training of Intermediate Academic Staff, University of Benin, from 2015 to 2018. Professor IGBINEWEKA was also Vice Chancellor Representative at the Staff School Board from 2016 to 2018, and member of the Postgraduate Committee inaugurated for commencement of postgraduate programs in the Faculty of Education, Federal University of Twiki in Bayelsa State from 2018 to 2019. He returned and was also member of the Student Disciplinary Committee of the University of Benin, 2019 to 2022, was Director, Center for Entrepreneurship Development, University of Benin, from 2020 to 2023, and became Head, Department of Educational Management, the University of Benin, from 2019 to 2020. Mr. Council became Vice Chancellor Representative on the John Harris Library Appointment and Promotion Board, the University of Benin, from 2020 to 2023. Mr. Inaugural belongs to several professional bodies and associations, such as the member of the Nigerian Association for Education, Administration and Planning, member Commonwealth Council for Education, Administration and Planning, member Nigerian Institute of Management, member Nigerian Academy of Education, and been fellow in Nigerian Association for Education, Administration and Planning. He's also fellow of the Education Management and Policy Practitioners. Mr. Inaugural is a recipient of several awards, recognition, and commendation. First, of course, on the list is that he is the Osaliwa Noba of Benin, conferred on him as the great Oba of Benin, Oba Nedu Kolopolo, Oba Ewari II. Oba Atope was conferred in 2022. He's a certified member of the clergy, the deacon of the Church of God Mission since 2003. Mr. Inaugural holds certificate of merit conferred on him by His Royal Highness Akuka of Bukari, Dr. Malam Shekarau Agu Musa Ibi Koyo II, which was conferred in 1993 for good character and hard work while he was performing the National Youth Service Corps. Mr. Inaugural has successfully supervised 7 PhD students. I will talk about that. 21 masters and several undergraduate students. He has over 58 academic publications and several contributions in books and monographs in local, national, and international journals. He has attended many local, national, and international conferences, and also served as a resource person to the National Universities Commission, the NUC. He's also an external examiner and professorial assessor to several universities. President Inaugural was appointed by the Senate of the University upon my recommendation as Deputy Vice Chancellor Academic the 20th of December last year. President Inaugural loves playing table tennis. He's a devout Christian of the Pentecostal faith. Take it or leave it, he is. And he worships presently at the Living Faith Church. He is a member, yes, he is a member of the Worldwide Power Society. In the palace of the great She works currently at the National Business and Technical Education Board, NAPTEP. The headquarters here in the and union is blessed for wonderful children. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, fellow academics, great children, students here present, great children, students. I present to you a brilliant scholar, an academic of no mean repute, Professor Victor OGIE, IGBINEWEKA. I request him to come forward to deliver his inaugural lecture.
Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, permit me to stand on the protocols already very well established by the University PRO to deliver my inaugural lecture titled The Higgledy-Piggledy in Funding Public University Education in Nigeria. Stop the lamentation and do the needful. Mine, Mr. Vice Chancellor, mine is the 339th in the inaugural lecture series of the University of Benin, the 30th to come from the Faculty of Education, and the 8th in the Department of Educational Management. Following those delivered by Professor Mrs. F. Alfwegu, Professor Mrs. B.O. Ogono, and Professor Mrs. C.J. Ifedili. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, I deem it very appropriate to appreciate you and members of your management team for giving me the opportunity to present this inaugural lecture. Thank you, sir. By way of dedication, I would like to place it on record that this lecture is dedicated first to God Almighty for His great grace upon my life. This lecture is also dedicated posthumously to my mother, IGBINEWEKA, who suffered, who suffered, made sacrifices, including selling her jewelries and clothes to support me through my education endeavors. By way of outline, this lecture, Mr. Vice Chancellor, is structured as shown in the screen. The first session of this lecture we address is on introduction, and this introduction will address issues of funding and lamentation in public universities. The second session of this lecture will focus on strategies to end lamentation, and while the third session is on conclusions and recommendations. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, school is government deliberate policy creation. The school is a government deliberate creation to equip its citizens, its members of society with requisite skills and knowledge for the effective performance of social roles. It is because of this, the Federal Republic of Nigeria 2004 adopted education as instrument par excellence for effecting national development. Consequent upon this adoption, the federal government has made some good efforts to universalize access to education at all levels. At the university level, that is the focus of my research endeavors. The number of universities that was 5 in 1972, by 2024, the number had increased to over 270. Out of this number, 138, Mr. Vice Chancellor, are owned, managed, and funded by the government. Regrettably, these universities suffer vilification and poor public image owing to frequent closures. The universities are always closed. Either students are protesting or the workers are on strike. And the reason for the agitation, both students and lecturers' agitation, is traced to poor funding. And this poor funding dates back to 1976, when the federal government introduced tuition-free policy, tuition-free university education policy in all public universities in 1976. And this is the beginning, Mr. Vice Chancellor, of all the problems today in Nigerian public universities. The government, instead of increasing routine grants to universities, have disallowed the payment of tuition fees and paid student support services, including hostel and cafeterias. The university were left to manage whatever they have to survive. Now, the grants from government from that 1976, when tuition fees were abolished, the grants from government have remained the same. The situation that put serious financial burden on the universities. Now, we are worried that the government probably didn't know the financial implication, because the experts in education and finance, they were not consulted before government took that decision. So we worried, and in 2018, my team, IGBINEWEKA, IGBINEWEKA, decided to investigate the academic cost of university programs. And 13 of such programs were selected across faculties and departments in Nigerian universities. And the results of that investigation, which we use the NUC standards to compute, are shown in the slide. Take, for example, BA Education English. What is required based on NUC standard? What is required to teach that program is 206,162 naira 24 kobo. Now, if nothing is free, Mr. Vice Chancellor, even if free town, nothing is free. Since government abolished the payment of tuition fees in university, one would have expected that government will review its grant allocation to this university, having this cost in mind. Having this cost in mind, but the students are not allowed to pay, and the government, who is supposed to pay on behalf of the students, not bringing the money. Other program, out of the 13 program, we have 5, and here for the purpose of this lecture, we have medical laboratory science. The cost is computed to be 644,000. 701,092 kobo, and yet government doesn't bring this money to the university. You have other in engineering, the same thing. 418 on the average to teach mechanical engineering. If you also look at law is 214,770 to. And lastly, for the purpose of this lecture, we have BSc Chemistry, 364,444 naira to teach chemistry. Now, Mr. Advisor, you will appreciate the work we have done when you compare the charges students now pay against this cost. That you see that it cannot really, it's not adequate at all. For quality teaching and learning to take place. Now, if government had consulted with experts in educational financing, maybe they would not have declared tuition-free policy, tuition-free university education policy in Nigeria. We were motivated to carry on this study so that government will be informed and we see the need to review its policy. Now, the funding situation in public universities, like I said earlier, government pays the salaries of workers, all workers. Government also funds capital and other expenditures up to 75% of the university needs. And of course, the university themselves are forced to generate 25% of its financial needs to finance its expenditures. Now, in the last 10 years, from 2015 to 2024, you will see the effort government has made to fund public universities in Nigeria. A total of 1.1 trillion, 1.390.83 trillion for the period was disbursed to universities to finance their expenditures. And the period average 139.08 billion. If you take the university average for the period, each university, 66 federal universities, each of them for the period got 21.07 billion naira. If you divide what each university got for the period of yearly, you will see that each university got about 1.8 billion naira yearly. Now, no, you cannot say from the surface. You will agree with me that this fund is huge. Within a period of 10 years, and the government able to bring down 1.3 trillion to fund teaching and learning activities in the university. I think it is quite huge. It is not the quantum of the fund that matters. What matters is the utilization. The utilization to achieve the purpose for which universities are established. Buwanjani Gowandani 2022 said in one of the classes, no amount of money that is too small to cook a pot of soup or too much to cook a pot of soup. What matters is the taste. So whether you use 2,000 to cook a pot of soup or you use 200,000 to cook a pot of soup, the soup is edible. The only difference will show in taste. Now, this in federal universities, the quantum of the size of this allocation notwithstanding, if public universities spend this money on so many activities that drain university money, to the extent that even if the whole Nigeria budget for 2027 give it to all the 66 federal universities, inadequate funding will still persist. The problem will not cease. What therefore are the issues? Why is inadequate funding a perennial problem, particularly since 1976? From that time, 50 years, university workers are still lamenting. University administrators are lamenting. Students and parents are lamenting. Lamenting inadequate funding. Is it that the funds that government brings or the funds that the university generates internally are not enough? If they are enough, what are the activities this money are used for? We found out in our research that this money, substantial part of this money, are used to finance activities that have little or no direct relationship with teaching and learning. Some of the issues are shown in this slide. The question is, what are the money guzzling activities of public universities? What do public universities spend this money on? In my opinion, 1.3 trillion naira to be given to 66 universities within 10 years, in my opinion, is huge enough. What do universities spend this money on? Mr. Vice Chancellor. One of the things that university spend this money on, one of the activities, and let me inform you, these activities that these 66 universities spend money on, they are approved by NUC template, budget template, because all universities prepare their budget based on NUC budget template. So all these activities that universities spend money on, they are approved by NUC. And one of it is irrelevant academic programs. Graduates lack knowledge and skills needed in this industry. Today, there are 10 vacancies in the industry, but no manpower because those who have the skill are not available. The universities do not fund programs, academic programs that will equip graduates with these necessary skills that will be useful or needed in the industry. So most of the graduates that come out from these public universities they lack knowledge, requisite knowledge and skills that are needed in the industry. Then of course, universities spend about 68% from our finding, 68% of the funds to teach irrelevant academic programs. In OGIE and IGBINEWEKA 2015, you agree with me that some persons do not really need some of the programs that they come to university to do. They just do it for aesthetics, for social reasons. You just want to come to the university and you train as a lawyer, and you end up maybe being a chef somewhere or a seamstress somewhere. So the skills that are acquired are not put into use in the economy. So, and 68% of these programs that universities spend this money on are not relevant. You imagine it, assuming the money that is spent on these relevant programs are saved to fund programs like robotics, cloud computing, programs in agriculture, in medicine, in engineering. The graduates that will come out of the system, they will have life skills, they will have useful skills that the economy, that the industry will use. But where you have more of the relevant programs in these universities than the relevant ones. Now, the second one is to have expansive landmass. Expansive landmass. Many of these universities spend funds that are limited to endlessly provide and maintain perimeter fencing. They sit on very large landmass. On the average, university, especially first generation university, they have minimum 40,000 hectares of land. What do they do with this land? Only about 30% of the land, only about 10% are useful. The other ones are just there. Every year, budget is approved to maintain, to clear the bushes, to keep wild animals away, and to check ecological threats. So, and the size of the land does not significantly improve or affect teaching and learning. So why do universities spend so much money on this land that is not useful? So this also is one of the money guzzlers that make available money in the university to be inadequate. The third activity or money guzzler is the over-reliance on analog methods of teaching. 21st century universities in Nigeria, these 66 federal universities that receive 1.390 trillion naira in the last 10 years, they spend some of this money on to provide stationaries, physical facilities that have little or no impact on teaching and learning. IGBINEWEKA 2023 reported that universities spend about 1/5 of available funds on analog teaching methods. Up till now, many universities, including first generation universities, they rely. The analog teaching method is still their preference. It's still their choice over digital, over online teaching, or over the use of digital facilities. You agree that even if we have, if the present funds to grants to universities are increased by 200%, I can tell you that so long as these fund guzzling activities are going on, the workers will keep on going on strike, the students will keep on protesting, and the university's calendar will remain unpredictable. Accommodation for staff and students. This is a very good one. What is however not too pleasant about it is the unwillingness of staff and students to pay appropriate charges for these accommodation services. Staff and students want more spaces, want more accommodation spaces, but yet they don't want to pay. IGBINEWEKA, Ighodala, and Anukai 2016 reported that over 36% of university funds are wasted on this venture. Why provide free? It is the government in 1976 that paid the payment, that paid students' charges for all these students of course services. So ever since, imagine now in some of these universities, you still find students paying less than 30,000 for hostel space in a whole year. You will the Medicare facility is heavily subsidized by government, and the money is not paid to the university. So all the support services are subsidized, yet the money doesn't come to the university. And the universities have been lamenting because all this money that would have been used to support quality teaching and learning, they are the ones that are used to provide free hostel, relatively free hostel services and accommodation services, facilities to start. Unfair remuneration scheme is the vice chancellor. It is in many of these public universities, supervision is job supervision is poor, and because job supervision is poor, it is very difficult to identify productive workers, productive staff, and less productive staff. What we find, those who work are paid salaries at the end of the month. Those who do not work are also paid salaries at the end of the month. The money spent to pay salaries to workers who didn't work is a serious drain on the finances of the university. Public universities provide social amenities. Ordinarily, it's the government responsibility to provide social amenities, provide road, provide electricity, provide water, provide internet. In all these public universities, it has become incumbent on the university vice chancellors to provide these services on behalf of government. So the money that would have been spent to improve on teaching and learning, university spend it to prepare roads, to do roads. They spend it to look for water for staff and students. They spend it to provide electricity for staff and students. So the university keep on spending spending money on these money guzzling activities, even as approved by NEC budget template. Then this dysfunctional job description is another money guzzling activity of the university. Jobs are not functionally described for experts to perform, and many university workers lack computer literacy. The reason too many people do the work that just few can do, and the money that is spent to pay too many people doing the job that just one person can do is a drain on the finances of the university. And this could be one of the reasons why there is endless lamentation of inadequate funding in the universities. Recruitment of personnel in the university is arbitrarily done to help friends and relations, and not necessarily because of need. IGBINEWEKA and OGIE 2018 in their study found that since 1976, 50 years down the line, Mr. Vice these lamentations have remained unabated. We are not going to allow the lamentation to continue. The reason we have my research team, we have computed, determined the standard cost of academic programs to guide government to probably review its policy on free tuition university policy. So now we're going to look at, in the next slide, we'll have some strategies being proposed that could end lamentation in public universities. Number one, appropriate remuneration strategy. Productive workers should earn more than those who are less productive. You find out that if two persons with a PhD, for example, are employed into the university at the same time with PhD, all things being equal, assuming the two employees have the same flair for publication, assuming they meet the publication, the two of them will receive the same salary all through their career years, whether they are productive or not. So you find out that money that is paid to unproductive workers, for example, why should somebody be paid his salary for not coming to work? You come late to work. The hours you came late to work, you are paid for it. You are absent without authorization. And for the period you are also absent, you are paid for it. So we believe that if university authorities can have a way of identifying staff that are productive, pay them very well. We want staff to be paid very well, and this can only take place when the money wasted on less productive staff are saved and used to improve on the salary of those who work. Now, cost sharing strategy. We have been deceiving ourselves that university education is a fundamental human right, and government tells us that free tuition policy is sustainable in Nigerian university. It is not possible. In our research, we have seen, at least in I think mechanical engineering, the cost that is needed is about 435,000. How much does the student pay out of this 400-something thousand? How much does the student pay? Does the government bring the balance? And the government doesn't bring the balance. Universities are constrained. Only God knows how university vice chancellors are surviving. Only God knows. Because the stress, the burden on them is something else. Because the money that would have been used, would have been saved, they are spent on money guzzling activities. And when you now ask parents, students, for a roundtable discussion, this cost, can university really bear it? Can government alone bear the cost of university education? There is need for all of us, all stakeholders, to come together in a summit. And let us ask ourselves, let us be truthful to ourselves. If you need education, university education should be able to pay for it. Let everybody come together. Let parents come together with management and say, look, how can we assist in funding, in providing funds in for university education. And we do hope that government will look at our reports in 2018, where we publish the result for investigation showing the academic cost for 13 programs across 5 countries and departments. If government is truthful and honest enough, they will be able to review the policy of free tuition in university education. Curriculum review strategy. Universities' researches should be industry-based. Our publication, we are here in the university. The slogan is perish, publish, or perish. Our researches are just academic. They are not targeted to solve specific problems in the industry. There are a lot of problems in agricultural sector. A lot of insecurity problems. A lot of you see buildings, for example, collapsing. Our roads are all bad. Our roads are all bad. It is because the university has not upgraded its curriculum to provide skills, to provide useful skills that will help solve this identified problem in our society. All we just do in the university is publish or perish. So long as I have my 8 papers, whether the 8 papers are copied from Nigerian Observer or and published, so long as it's published and it's up to date, I'll be promoted. The promotion is based on academic research and not industry-based research. And we are proposing that the curriculum should be so reviewed and upgraded to have industry contents that will make that ways to be useful to themselves and to the society. For the purpose of emphasis, important skills in cybernetics, skills in artificial intelligence, skills in cloud computing, robotics, and other no-tech related fields should be emphasized in universities. Academic programs merging and alignment is another strategy that, if thoughtfully considered, could eliminate the lamentations in our universities. Duplication of academic programs in public university should be discontinued. I cannot understand why. Take the federal universities, for example, 66 in number. All these 66 federal universities, all of them, they offer program in mathematics, BSc mathematics, BSc physics. All of them offer programs. All of them offer BA English, for example. In 66 universities, all of them doing the same thing. The strategy that is being proposed, that university should focus on faculty-based programs. For example, the University of Agriculture should be expanded to provide programs in agricultural areas. University of Science and Technology should be expanded. More of those universities should be built. Even these conventional universities, many of them should be converted to University of Science and Technology, University of Agriculture, University of Business Administration, University of Legal Education, so that university will have specialty, and the money that is wasted in teaching all these numerous. In one university, you have almost 130 academic programs. In one university, almost 130, no specialization. So we are proposing that in going forward, that programs should be made, universities should be should be, the programs university should be made, and one or two universities can be located in maybe each of these geopolitical zones for conventional to run conventional programs. But going forward, universities should specialize in some faculties, not the way it is in University of Benin, for example. I'm sure we have about 20 faculties, all of them in different areas. But we can still have the same, all these 20 faculties, but all of them can be engineering, within engineering, science and technology. All of them can be within business administration, not the way it is presently, that is guzzling the limited funds available. Then, of course, distant learning option. Why? I do not know why today the federal government still approves budgets for architectural, physical architectural buildings all over the place. I do not know why. I do not know why the federal government still approves money to be fencing 40,000 hectares of land, and only about 30% of the land is used for the purpose of teaching and learning. The other ones are wasted. Now, why not now let the university go open after the order of the Open University of Nigeria? The Open University of Nigeria is the largest university, public university today in Nigeria, and there is no record that the workers embark on industrial, have any industrial dispute with management and go on strike and the university closed down. In the history of Open University of Nigeria, the university has never closed down, and the students have never protested, neither have the workers. The workers in that university declare any industrial action that could make the university to close down, like the way the conventional 66 federal universities are closing down. So, going forward, the university should adopt the open university approach, where students you can be in Lagos and take your lectures here in Benin. Anywhere you are, you can be a student of the University of Benin. All you need to do is just participate virtually. And during practicals can be taught, only the practical aspect of the academic programs can be taught physically. But every other aspect of the program, should be taught virtually. Recommendation. Vice Chancellor. Replacement of the age-long salary system with wages and allowances model for remunerating workers in university. Henceforth, sir, Vice Chancellor, sir, workers should no longer be paid salaries. They should be paid wages and allowances. A worker must earn his wages. It is this salary payment that is one of the reasons why available funds in universities are inadequate. The reason for all the crisis, financial crisis in university, it is just because of this salary payment. Henceforth, let salary not be paid. Let wages and allowances be paid. If you work, you get good money. If you don't work, you will not get money. By so doing, we will save a lot of money for the university. Vice Chancellor, sir, we are also recommending the replacement of physical contact facilities with. We are recommending the replacement of physical contacts and physical facilities with digital facilities for e-teaching and e-learning. We are also recommending involvement of key stakeholders in the contribution of needed funds for the universities. And lastly, Mr. Vice Chancellor, Vice Chancellor should be more circumspect, efficient and accountable in managing available funds to achieve the purpose of universities are established. And of course, sir, all those that are involved in making financial contributions, they should be given opportunity to oversight the management of university funds. Acknowledgements. I thank God for His love and mercy, for helping me to be useful to myself and society, and for giving me job, a good career, and a good family. I thank God that today my dream of being an inaugural lecturer has come to pass. I thank the Vice Chancellor, Professor Doba B. Omeridesan, for giving me the approval to deliver this 339th inaugural lecture series of the University of Benin. Thank you, sir. I also thank the Vice Chancellor for appointing me as DVC ACAD, the appointment that has motivated the delivery of this lecture earlier than expected. I thank past Vice Chancellors. I thank past Vice Chancellor, Professor Dennis Akolao, who gave me job as assistant lecturer in 1999 in Abuja University. I thank Professor OGIE, who also gave me job in 2012 March as a senior lecturer. I'm grateful to Professor F.F.O. Ruese for appointing me head of department in 2019, and later that same year, he made me a professor. I thank Professor Eli Salami for appointing me Assistant Dean of Faculty of Education in 2014. And later in 2020, as the Director, Center for Entrepreneurship Development. I'm grateful to my faculty, the Faculty of Education. The Dean of Education, Professor Obi, I thank you, sir, promoting academic and administrative excellence in the faculty. And I'm very grateful to all the professors and lecturers in the Faculty of Education. In particular, I want to thank Emeritus Professor Mohosa Owie for teaching me the application of research statistics. Professor Venerable Mon Wandiani for teaching me the knowledge of education, psychology, and finance. I thank Professor Adeyemi for teaching me the skills of research problem statement. I thank Professor Igodala, now my present head of department, for teaching me education system evaluation skills analysis. And I thank my very good friend, Professor Dr. Alonge, who is always teaching me patience. He's always teaching me patience, and I thank you very much, sir. I want to thank the whole Elsa IGBINEWEKA, the presiding bishop of Holy Arosa Cathedral, for his good will and prayer for me. Thank you, sir. I thank the membership of Living Faith Church in particular. I thank Pastor Dr. Luke Kwebo, Pastor Ayobami Ajibike, and Tikin Osamuyi for always praying for me. I thank the membership of Church of God Mission. I thank the membership of Church of God Mission International in particular. I thank Elder. I thank Elder Lugard Ogama, Reverend James Igbowe, Reverend Michael Igbowe, and Reverend James Ogedegwe for their endless prayers for my spiritual and academic career. I thank all the civil society and organizations here present. Obakaido, Edo Club, Benin Club 1931. I thank Benin, I thank all my family, Ogedegwe family from Ewesi, my mother family from Igogo, Inaugural local government. I thank my wife family, Mariagbe Gareba, who gave me their beautiful wife to marry. I thank my students, past and present, particularly those who ask questions and make contributions in class. I beautiful wife. I thank you, Mrs. Becky IGBINEWEKA, a fellow of the Chartered Institute, fellow of the Chartered ICAN, fellow FCA ICAN, for joining us with me to have two successes in many areas of my life. I thank my children, and finally, I want to thank Omonoba Nedo Ukwakolokolo, the Royal Majesty, the great Oba of Benin, for graciously giving me visa into the palace. I also thank Omonoba for conferring and confirming on the chieftaincy title, Usaliwa Oba of Benin Kingdom, on me. Oba Ratofei, I thank you and God bless you for your attention.
Please sit. Thank you, sir, GVC and distinguished inaugural lecturer. If you gave Professor IGBINEWEKA another 1 hour, we won't leave here. Once again, please put your hands together. May I now respectfully invite our dear Vice Chancellor to recap the lecture. Please put your hands together.
Thank you, Darren. Let me once again stand on the already established protocol to congratulate our dear brother, friend, Professor Victor IGBINEWEKA, for giving this inaugural lecture. Mine is now to give the synopsis of the lecture. The 339th inaugural lecture, titled The Higgledy-Piggledy Funding Nigerian Public Universities. I think you should all go and Google what that means. If you have not done so. The confusion, the Higgledy-Piggledy in funding Nigerian public universities. Stop the lamentation and do the needful. Delivered by Professor Victor IGBINEWEKA. The lecture highlights the relevance of university education in national development. The effort made by the Nigerian government to provide, develop, and fund university education were identified and discussed in the lecture. The lecturer, however, observed that public universities suffer vilification over indiscriminate closures, often caused by student protests and strikes by workers, essentially over the issue of funding. Provides a very critical evidence to show that both government grants and the internally generated funds are grossly inadequate for public universities to finance their homologous expenditures. Universities, according to Professor IGBINEWEKA, are unable to internally generate adequate funds because of the external government policy, which allows the levying of tuition fees and the pegging of payment of other charges for student support services, including hostel facilities. This, according to him, is the bane of all the funding challenges which beset the Nigerian public university system today. And of course, the reason behind lamentations of workers, students, parents, and even myself, Vice Chancellor, many other Vice Chancellors, about the state of our public universities. And he didn't just stop at lamentation. He decided to provide solution. So for him to do the needful, we need to focus on appropriate remuneration payment. And of course, try around on cost sharing, including to adopting distant learning system, a current program made in alignment with the wages and allowance system of remuneration. It's quite noble indeed. In addition, recommends the active involvement of government, parents, students and employers of labor in contributing the needed funds to strengthen our public university system. Let me just add that since I came on board as Vice Chancellor, I've come to discover so many other things that I didn't notice before I took the office. So what Professor IGBINEWEKA has had to talk about is something we all have to ponder over. Many of the suggestions appear to be quite novel, maybe even controversial. But I'm sure if you've done the research as he has done, you'll soberly consider what he has talked about. On our own part as university administrators, I assure you that what he has had to say, appears to be a roadmap which we can all explore, and so that we can get out of the woods. On this note, I want to once again congratulate Professor IGBINEWEKA for this inaugural lecture, which he has delivered within a very short time of the assumption of office as Deputy Vice Chancellor of Academics. It's our tradition here that you can't truly occupy this position of Deputy Vice Chancellor of Academic if you have not lifted the burden placed on you to deliver the inaugural lecture. And so what he has done is indeed fulfilling the basic tradition that we all know, those of us who are in the system, about the university system. Once again, I thank you for listening, and may God bless all of us.
Mr. Vice Chancellor will now decorate the lecturer as we invite the immediate family members, wife and children to come off stage. And as they do that, we recognize the presence of some dignitaries with us. The wife of the lecturer, Mrs. Betty IGBINEWEKA, who is a fellow Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria. Please put your hands together. We are going to clap more because I believe congratulations are in order. Today, 24th April, is the 32nd wedding anniversary of Professor and Mrs. IGBINEWEKA. So congratulations, sir and ma'am. We acknowledge the children, Irobi Jesu, Victor OGIE. Ogi Jesu, Victor OGIE. Oyinoni Jesu, Victor OGIE. Ijesu Mega, Victor OGIE. Please put your hands together for his wonderful children. And other family members here present, Ebenezer IGBINEWEKA, Barrister Kate IGBINEWEKA, Mr. and Mrs. Best Imariabe, Mr. and Mrs. Omorobe. We welcome heartily the representative of our Royal Majesty, the Oba of Benin, Chief Osaro Ida, the Obazelu of Benin Kingdom. Please put your hands together. We welcome the Enogie of Egwesi. Put your hands together, please. The President, the presiding priest, Holy Arosa Cathedral, Ohonsa, Edebi, Inodwa, welcome you. We welcome the former Vice Chancellor, Ambrose Ali University, Ekoma, my alma mater, Professor Dennis Agmulaho. Put your hands together. Welcome Professor Emeritus and Professor Mrs. Tioke Audu, Professor Emeritus and Mrs. Raymond Lion, Professor Emeritus Nosa Elafona, former DVC admin, Professor Kathleen Upon, former DVC Ekewan Campus, Professor John Ogene, former DVC admin and member of the Governing Council, Professor Maureen Ebomoyi. Welcome Pastor Osage Ize Iyam. Welcome, sir. Welcome Director of Sports, Professor Elvis Agunaho, Director of Equipment and Maintenance Center, Professor Christopher Agapwe, the University Orator, Professor Mike Omoy Berale. We welcome you. Welcome Pastor Dave Iwodaru. We welcome you, sir. Welcome the Chairman, Nigerian Association of Medical and Dental Academics, Professor Alfonso Isara. Welcome the President, Benin National Congress Worldwide, Ambassador Ayam Emwe Edo welcome you, sir. Please put your hands together. We welcome the former Director of Works, Uniben Engineer Austin Akonaye. We welcome Honorable Richard Usakwe. We welcome Professor Mensei Igbeneweku. Daddy, welcome. We welcome the Dean of Education, Abia State University, Professor Benson Afiamadi. We welcome Professor Mabel Oyinso, Professor Elizabeth Ebochukwu. We welcome you. We welcome Professor Mrs. Lucy Okukon, Professor Francis Omowi. We welcome you. Professor Mrs. Esther Okobia. We welcome you. Professor Venerable Mon Wandiali. We welcome you. Professor Atenli, Professor Kingsley Obeidi, Professor Jennifer Ebeidi, Professor Mrs. Sohe Omoebe, Professor Solomon Omonigo, Professor Mrs. Antonia Clark, Professor Evelyn Umemesia, Professor and Mrs. Manasseh Monikebe, Professor Arthur Ogedebe, Professor Sylvia Ogwana. The last, but certainly not the least, Conwa, Executive and Members, Uniben Chapter, and I recognize especially my two royal princes, Dr. Isha Kosaki Eweka and Dr. Kennedy Eweka. And distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Vice Chancellor Sir, that is how we conclude the 339th inaugural lecture. Please rise now as we take first the Uniben and the third stanza of the national anthem. Procession will leave the auditorium now. Please stay where